It's time for the lightning round now, and last week we told you about David Letterman. Yes, he's retiring, and it has broken the hearts of Dee Dee and myself. Well, outgoing host David Letterman welcomed incoming host Stephen Colbert on the show this week, and just so wonderful to see, and I think Letterman was so happy about this. Dee Dee and I both like Stephen Colbert. How about you, Paul?
I'm a fan, and now I'm a bigger fan after seeing the segment with him on it was fantastic. So.
Yeah, what would you think, Dee Dee? I mean,
well, of course we have the empty chair here because, you know, we're saving up for Letterman to come and visit us.
That's
Fresh
right,
Outlook.
of course.
Letterman's chair, but no, I think he's brilliant. I think he's fantastic, and he will be, I think he's a perfect replacement. He's a lot like Letterman.
We were saying that at break time, but I think they're both kind of like intellects, but just so witty and so
dry
funny.
sense of humor, so smart.
I think it is the best choice that there possibly could be. So it was just fun to see them on, so we thought we'd bring you a smile on that. Also bringing a smile this week, of course, was the Boston Marathon. It was held earlier this week, where many of the survivors took back the finish line. The first American man also won. That's the first time that has happened since 1983. And just, my gosh, I felt so patriotic watching some of this, and just felt like getting out there and running with some of those people. Of course, I can only do a 5K, but you know,
hey,
I'm gonna work
good.
on that.
I can't do anything.
But there was just some spectacular moments there. 36,000 running.
Yeah, when you listen to the speeches after they ran, especially the guy who won, that's what he thought about the whole time. You know, the victims of the bombing, and that's what, you know, fueled him, and he ran his personal best, and you know, it's just a very inspiring story for sure.
Dee Dee?
Yeah, I think that's why I won. I believe that. I think that the spirit of what happened in the American people was with him, and it was meant to be. I think it was a faith thing.
I do a 5K each year called Tunnels to the Towers in honor of one of the 9/11 victims, and you get 25,000 people running through the Brooklyn Tunnel chanting, and it's just amazing.
That's great, yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. They said the entire route was completely covered with people. Very, very, just a wonderful sight. Not so wonderful sight if you're a Yankee fan like me, and that's because the Yankee pitcher Michael Pineda, we talked about this last week, Dee Dee. Well, he's been suspended for 10 games for allegedly using pine tar. Now, we know that's a big no-no in the game of baseball. But I don't know if you were tuning into this, Paul. Did you see? Have you been following this?
I saw it.
Okay.
I was watching it.
Well, I think what happened, now, Dee Dee, when we talked about it last week, they saw the substance, and they had some on his hand.
Yep.
Then he had some on his cheek, and they said it was a deliberate. He was kind of saying, hey, I'm not going to play by the rules. They all know the pitchers do use this every now and then, a little bit, but he wasn't playing by the rules. Agree or disagree?
I agree. Well, not only wasn't he playing by the rules, I disagree with only suspending him for 10 games. In other arenas and industry, if you cheat, you're out. Well, you don't get a second.
I mean, look at Pete Rose, for goodness sakes. I mean, the poor man Charlie Hustle still can't get into. I mean,
and I was going to say the same thing. You know, it's not steroids, but it was cheating. And I'm a Yankee fan. I'm the biggest Yankee fan, so.
And I thought he had a bad attitude. You know, he had it in his neck or whatever, and the guy said, "You're out of there." And he's like, "Well," and he was just kind of, I thought his attitude was very, very bad. I
agree, but it did have.
He was real snide about it, and.
You know, these are the rules of the game, and if you break the rules, you cannot play the game. And you know, his approach to it, before and after, is really horrendous.
Well, it was a flagrant foul, if you will, because he had it on his hand the one week, and that's when we talked about it last week on Fresh Outlook. But then he put it up on his face, and it was kind of like, you know, the Boston manager was like, hey, come on.
I think he should be out the whole season. I mean, that was terrible attitude. I'm going to do whatever I want, whatever. Bad news. And it's, you know, the Yankees went after that pitcher. He's supposed to be one of the best, and a lot of money. It cost him. Not such a great attitude. I agree with both of you on that one. All right, we've got a happy birthday. Hey, let's say happy birthday to YouTube. Turned 9 this week, if you can believe it or not. And the question that I have for both of you is, what would life be like without YouTube? I mean, we wouldn't be able to watch Fresh Outlook, Dee Dee. That's true. Everyone should go to YouTube and look up Fresh Outlook, because it's fabulous. Every show you got to watch. So, but it's really good for Fresh Outlook. But you know, a lot of people only watch YouTube. They troll. I hate to say troll, but you go through and you look through YouTube for a certain topic, and you see all the YouTubes pop up. I love YouTube. I think it's great. I use it all the time.
Second biggest search engine now.
And that's one of the founders right there. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Paul. That's
He's 12.
That's the first ever YouTube video 9 years ago.
You can YouTube anything that you need to do, that's for sure.
Hey, put together those IKEA chairs and things like that. I'm all over that. That's awesome.
Yeah, YouTube's great. Happy birthday.
All right, something also to make you smile. People magazine named its most beautiful woman. Lupita, of course, who won the Academy Award. She won the movie for 12 Years a Slave, and certainly such a beautiful cover they had of her. And from a female standpoint, I don't know if you agree or disagree, Dee Dee, but you know, she wears almost no makeup. And she's just flawless. She just looks beautiful.
I agree. I think she's so beautiful. And at the Academy Awards, when she wore that powder blue dress, everyone was like, wow. I mean, she's just lovely. So I think she deserves it.
And from a male perspective, I would concur. She's flawless.
She's just absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Now, this is going to be a little bit longer topic. Also, we're going to talk about the top 100 most influential people. They were named by Time magazine this week. Beyonce was honored by being chosen to be on the 2014 Time cover. And here's an interesting stat. She is one of 41 women who made the list this year. And that sets a new record for the number of females making the list of 100 people. So let's talk it out, some of the folks that we were seeing up there. Anybody that strikes you, and I also want to mention some of the categories as well. But was there anybody that struck you?
I'm looking at Miley Cyrus.
Well, yeah.
You don't think she should be there, should you?
No, I don't.
That's where you're going.
But they actually do make the distinction that it doesn't matter if they influenced you in the right way or the wrong way.
So you can't argue with her influence. I would, you know, she has a tremendous following. It's just one that kind of rubs me the wrong way when you put her in the context of, you know, Janet Yellen, some of the greatest athletes, Serena Williams, things like that, and then you have Miley.
Yeah, but you've got Snowden. He's a traitor, but he did influence. Can't stand the guy, but he did influence in a bad way.
He certainly
did.
So there you go.
You have to put him up there.
You got to include him, I agree. But my favorite's Megyn Kelly, because I know her, I love her. She's the only woman in media on the list.
I would like to challenge that. I love Megyn too. I think she's wonderful. Never would ever put down anybody in the media. But I'm saying, why Megyn versus anybody else?
Because she's better. She's so good. I mean, if you really watch her, how do you compare to her the other women in media? She's just that good. I think it's pure talent. I really believe it.
I'm going to say, you know, people like Diane Sawyer. I'm just taking.
Yeah, but she's sort of out of it now. Megyn is hot. But she's really not doing a whole lot now.
Well, she's
Megyn is on
anchoring the
primetime.
news.
She's on primetime every night. She does a great job. Her ratings are through the roof. She's fantastic.
Okay, Paul?
I can't really weigh in on it, you know, good or bad. I do think she's obviously an accomplished journalist and media person.
And she's cable.
I don't know what happens outside, you know, of the show and what she does to actually influence people. But apparently she must have a tremendous following.
And she's cable versus broadcast, which is a lot. It's a smaller number, and she's getting these huge ratings, making a big difference. You know, and I know her personally. I love her. She's great. So that's why as well.
I thought it was interesting, though, to point out that they had different categories. I didn't realize that. Titans, pioneers, artists, leaders, and icons. So let's talk about some of the icons that were there. We were debating here on the show how old Robert Redford was, but he was one of the icons.
Yeah. It looks like. I think he's 100.
Oh, Dee.
Did you see that picture? Okay, somebody put that picture up because he looks like he's 100 years old.
He's actually 77. We did talk about that. We actually Googled how old he was. No,
that ain't him.
And also Pope Francis as well. Obviously.
He deserves it.
But another person in the pioneer category was Jason Collins. He's, of course, the first openly gay athlete. And what's interesting is if you read the backgrounds, people have to write about each one of these people. Chelsea Clinton wrote about Jason Collins. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, for an athlete, when it's like a macho He-Man type of thing and you come out and you're gay, hey, that's brave. I mean, you got to give the guy, I mean, definitely influential. I would agree with that pick.
Yep. Tremendous courage to do that in that arena.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. No pun intended. It's
exactly.
Tough. Very tough.
And of course, there were 41 women this time around, and that was certainly great for women as well.
Angela Merkel, she was part of it. Love her.
Absolutely.
She's great.
Well, Paul, always a pleasure. Dee Dee, of course, always a pleasure. But that is all we have time for this week here on Fresh Outlook. I'm Nia Toski. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next week.